Polite inquiries, Ageas Bowl. All right, George, I've got 3 fast, bouncy, juicy deliveries for you right now that I'm going to do back to back to back. Francie says, who is the best bowler today, broadly speaking? David Ferguson asks, who makes way for Stuart Broad in the second test? He's already ruled out everybody else. And Abijato says, is Stuart Broad going to be the MVP of this match? Once again, we can't stop talking about Stuart Broad, George. So what do you have to say?
I think there's every chance if he had played, he'd have ended up with 1 for 70, like Mark would. And I thought Mark would bowl quite well, generally. And people would be saying, oh, we should have picked Mark Wood when he got that pace. I don't know. Was the selection wrong? I don't know. Yeah, it's a little bit simplistic just to think if we had picked Broad, it would have been better. I don't think the selection was wrong. I just don't think England have been quite on it. And I, again and again, I'm going to come back to saying West Indies have played well. They bowled better, they batted better than England. But you're absolutely right, Broad's reputation has improved massively through not playing.
Naveed Khan says, or asks rather, so far I believe England has made 2 mistakes. 1, including Wood instead of Broad, here we go again, and making Ben Stokes the captain. He's just a run-of-the-mill type captain. Now
I just don't know where that's coming from. And let's focus on that.
Fire you up. I knew.
Well, you're criticising Ben Stokes as captain. He's had 2 days and about an hour of cricket. In those 2 days, he has been the top scorer for England,
Yep.
the top wicket taker, and he's taken a really sharp catch in the slips. What do you want? Today, Stokes reached a slightly spurious milestone, 4,000 runs, 150 test wickets. The only man in test history who's ever done it quicker than him is Sir Garfield Sobers. Now, if you're ever just behind Sir Garfield Sobers, you're doing pretty great. Ray
asks, are the umpires going to be reprimanded for such an atrocious display? Oh, this has also been the talk of the town, George. Yes. I think someone needs going to the naughty corner.
They got one wrong, which benefited West Indies a little while ago this evening. And I wondered whether they might celebrate because it at least made it look as if they were genuine errors. It's almost like they say, look, we're not biased, we're just rubbish.
Will Hinch asks, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but is Dom Bess the new Graeme Swann?
Oh, I think that. I mean, he's a good young cricketer. I think that's strong. You've got to expect him to be a 22-year-old cricketer who's learning his game at the top level. And you've got to remember how little first-class cricket he's played, how few opportunities there are for spinners in England. But, he's pretty special, Swann. So let's not. Bess is a really good, promising young cricketer, but I don't see him being that good yet.
Michael Penhale asks, is Ed Smith contractually obligated to look like a Bond villain every time he attends a test? That is a fabulous question.
I always think he looks like he's late to a cocktail party on a yacht.
That's how I always look. I'm always late.
I don't know where he gets his clothes, but the only thing I would say is that Kevin Peterson's the only person who's looked at him and thought, hey, where'd you get those clothes? Rather than the rest of us who are like, hey, where'd you get those clothes? Anyway, it's funny that people are asking about the selection abroad, or the non-selection abroad, because I don't think that's the big issue. I don't think Joe Denley's should be batting, and again, prove me wrong tomorrow, I'll be delighted. And I think that I just wonder how badly Jos Buttler has to do to be dropped. 41 tests, 100. I think it's cosy as hell if you're one of Ed's guys. Ed Myth is far too stubborn as a selector. I think he starts from the standpoint of wanting to prove himself right, and I think that's a real problem. It has become far too easy to stay in that side if you're one of those guys that Ed likes. Got a number 3 who's averaging 29 in Test cricket. If you give loads of county batsmen 15 tests, I think this is Denley's 15th-ish tests, they will score you 100. If Sam Northeast, Hildreth, Balance, call up any of these guys from county cricket and give them 15 tests in a row, I think they'll do better than Joe Denley.
Hugh Lloyd asks, would George Dobell wearing a headband make him more or less sexy? Now, I believe that is directed to me, and I'm going to say, again, depending on the headband, if it's the David Beckham-esque thinner headband, then 100% makes George more sexy?
Yeah, ways to make me sexier. Yeah, that's what I have. I've been looking for that advice for years. Send them in. Send them in, really. People are going to say balaclavas, surgery. Don't be cruel.
Speedos.
Speedos.
We
Is that
digress.
what you said? Is that what you said? I feel I've been objectified.
Well, it's
And
about
it feels good. I'm flattered.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube, and for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for premium content plus live streaming, make sure to subscribe to ESPN Player.